Today we're going to look at introducing rates. Rates compare quantities measured in different units. They're similar to ratios in that ratios compare different values, different quantities of the same unit and the same sort of type, but these ones are looking at different units. So rates involve different units. You've probably seen rates around an awful lot, amounts per kilogram, per kilometres per hour, things like that. So two units are always separated by this slash, this backslash here, and that means per. It means per. So here 20 kilometres per hour means 20 kilometres for each hour. So it means for every hour that you travel, you'll move 20 kilometres. This is expressed as a simplified rate because it involves writing the rate for only one unit of the second quantity. So it is for every 1 hour, not for 2 hours, not for 3 or 4, it's for every 1 hour. So this rate here is a simplified rate. If it wasn't a simplified rate, it could be the same amount, same rate that's of kilometres per number of hours, but maybe it's 40 kilometres per 2 hours. So in 2 hours I would go twice as far. I'd do 40 kilometres, I'd go 40 kilometres, but it's not a simplified rate, 40 kilometres for every 2 hours. The simplified rate is 20 kilometres per hour. And the reason that we use a simplified rate is because it's much easier to think about. For every hour I can think of, okay, I'm going to be travelling for 20 hours, so I'm going to be doing 20 lots of the 20 kilometres, so 400 kilometres. So I can very easily use it when it's in a simplified rate. An average rate is found by simplifying the rate of the total change in one quantity for the total change in the second quantity. So sometimes rates aren't consistent and constant. For example, growth rates, you don't grow, as you're growing, you don't grow at a constant rate the whole time. You might grow a lot one day and nothing at all the next day. But to find an average rate, if you take the whole amount of the change in the first quantity, so the whole amount that you've grown, or maybe it's the whole distance that you've travelled, and find it as a rate compared to a second quantity for the total time, or the total time that you've been growing, or something like that, then you've got the average rate. The average rate of growth, or the average speed here, this is a rate of movement, the average rate that has been progressing. So, looking at a couple of examples. So looking at simplifying these rates here first. So if we've got 12 students per 2 teachers, to simplify it, we only need it for 1 teacher. So 2 to 1 teacher, if we divide the number of students by 2, then we'll be able to find the rate per teacher. So if we've got 2 teachers, divide that by 2, that'll be 1 teacher. 12 students divided by 2 is going to be 6 students. So that means there's going to be 6 students per teacher. That's how that is read, 6 students per teacher. For $28 per 4 kilograms, so $28 for 4 kilograms maybe of bananas or of a fruit or vegetable. To work out the price per kilogram, we only need the price per 1 kilogram. So we're looking for 4 divided by 4 will get us 1, and we do the same to the other side. $28 divided by 4 is going to be $7. So $7 per kilogram. Lastly, if we've got Tom and he's 120 centimetres tall when he turned 10, so when he's 10 years old he's 120 centimetres, and then at 20 years old he's 185 centimetres, so he's grown over those 10 years. Find Tom's average rate of growth between 10 and 20 years of age. So we first need to know how much he has grown over that 10 years. So the difference between 185 and 120 is 65 centimetres. So we can work that out by the difference between them is just subtracting. So 185 centimetres minus 120 centimetres is the difference between the two, 65 centimetres. So 20 years old, he's aged 10 years. So in 10 years, he's grown 65 centimetres. So that means 65 centimetres per 10 years. We only need it for each year, because that's going to be the simplified growth rate per year. So dividing by 10 65 centimetres divided by 10 is 6.5 centimetres, 6.5 centimetres here. 10 years divided by 10 is going to be per 1 year, for every year. So that means his growth rate is 6.5 centimetres per year.